Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
Right now, Lithia Ford of Boise is buying used vehicles. How much you want for the SUV?
I don't know.
Well, Lithia Ford will give you more than that.
How much more?
More than you think.
I'm not thinking anything.
I'm thinking you might get even more than that. See how much more you can get at Lithia Ford of Boise.
When it comes to concrete, we've got you covered. RowPaint.com offers custom concrete coating services for your garage, business, warehouse, and more. And we do it in one day. We are your complete concrete coatings solution.
Yeah, there's no...
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Now, here's BJ Rains with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Yeah, there's no question, and that's obviously the big to-do that that we have to get going here really quick. And there's enough talk that's been done about it. Now we got to put something into place and put some action going forward. The one thing that I will say is, it starts with us, and it starts with me as a coach. And making sure that our offensive coaches and myself, we're putting our offense in the best situation, because we got guys that are working their tails off and really, they got a huge care factor. And so, like we just told them in the locker room, we will be better for them. And, we're looking forward to obviously getting moving forward, because our goal is still in front of us as we move into conference play.
After a tough game like this, do you at some point have to consider, major changes, whether that's in your personnel or your coaching staff?
Well, we're going to go and look at the film, and we're going to look at the film, and we're going to really dissect the things that we're going to move forward on.
Not a denial there from Andy Avalos about coaching changes, what happens here moving forward. Welcome on into the Bronco Nation News Lithia Ford of Boise postgame show. My name is BJ Rains. Our road trip coverage sponsored by Idaho Central Credit Union. Broadcasting, as always, from the Cutwater Canned Cocktail Studios here in the press box at Sun Bowl Stadium here in El Paso, Texas. And we're going to have a lot of time for your questions, a lot of time for your comments and your thoughts after, frankly, a stunning loss. If you want to say I jinxed it, whatever, but I couldn't have been more wrong. I said this morning, and I wrote about it, I thought this was the game that Boise State shuts everybody up and goes out and dominates, and it was, in fact, the complete opposite of that. It was one of the more uglier losses that I've covered in my 10 years here. I don't think it's as bad as the New Mexico game when they were 30-point favorites at home. I don't think it was quite as bad as that one. There's obviously a lot going on right now. There's going to have to be some significant conversations about some significant changes moving forward, whether it be with personnel or coaching. You heard from Andy Avalos right there that we've talked about it plenty. Now it's time to do it, and they haven't done it yet. And then the follow-up about potential changes to the coaching staff or the personnel, and he did not say no. He said we're going to have to look at everything and see what happens from there. This was the scene after the game. This was before the game. We'll get to the full highlights here in a minute, but we got plenty of time for your questions. We're going to hear the full Andy Avalos press conference. We're also going to hear from Scott Matlock as well as John Ojukwu after Boise State again falls in this one. This is going to be a good one. Bad. Dayton says, I don't think I'm ready for this one, but man, what a night. Drew says, who's ready for basketball season? I think the first official practice, believe it or not, is like Monday. The first official in-season practice for the basketball team starts Monday. So you will have some positivity to look forward to there. This should be a good show. Fire the OC and bench Hank. That's going to be the obvious two things that people are going to be calling for today. King says time to clean house, rebuild from the top down. What would you do realistically? Let us know, because I think you're at the point now where you need to have some significant changes, whether that's Matt Miller coming in and calling the plays, whether that is I don't know. I mean, Andy Avalos is a defensive coach. I don't think he comes in and calls the plays, but maybe Matt Miller, maybe Nate Potter. I don't think Keith Bonifay has any experience calling plays. Do you fire Tim Keene, the offensive line coach? Do you reassign Tim Plow? Do you straight fire Tim Plow? Do you switch to Talon Green? I mean, I think all of this, unfortunately, has to be on the table at this point. That was one of the, certainly the worst loss in the, Andy Avalos era as he drops to 9-7 as head coach. And it's, up there in terms of losses, as I said, in recent memory. I mean, go back the last 15 years. There's not too many losses that one would be worse than. Maybe the Utah State one in 2015, I believe, where Brett Rippon had the 5 turnovers and they lost that one like 56-21 or something, 51-26, something like that. I mentioned when you're 30-point favorites against New Mexico and you lose on the blue, that was certainly a bad one. But so this is going to rank up there to be 16.5-point favorites on the road against a UTEP team that was 1-3 and just lost by 14 points to New Mexico last week. A team that had 7 turnovers on offense last week has none today. Boise State's defense wasn't, helped out. The time of possession was 40-20, but the defense also couldn't get off the field. They allowed some crucial third downs to UTEP and also gave up some big plays. So certainly part of the defensive struggles were because of what the offense didn't do. But I think some blame does need to go on the defense in this game as well. They certainly did not play perfect in this game against an offense that has really been pretty bad this season. Not upset about the play calling for once. What's the deal with the defense not using Genty or Green at all? No, this isn't a bench Hank Forever post. Clearly didn't have it tonight. I'll be honest. I'm a guy that, and Logan, appreciate you saying you've been looking forward to the show since halftime. I have been Team Hank. I've said that many times. I did not think that it was the right time to, bench Hank Bachmeier. I wrote that he needed to start. I wrote that he needed to play. I thought he was going to have a big game tonight. But I finally, at late in the second quarter, was telling Jordan and Ron and Collin and everybody in the press box, Jay Tuss, like it's time. Like, I hate to say it, I'm still on Team Hank. At least I was during the game, going forward. But at that point in the game, when they just couldn't get anything going on offense and more than anything just needed a spark, I think they needed to go to Talon Green at some point in that game. And I asked Andy Avalos, you'll hear in the postgame, and he said that they did consider going to Talon Green, but by the time they considered it, he's not as adept to run the 2-minute offense as Hank is. So basically when they got down, then they weren't going to go to Talon Green because he can't run the 2-minute offense as well as Hank can, according to Andy Avalos. So I do think that, that was something that, especially to start the second half, you go in at halftime, you regroup, you tell Talon, you get the second half, and it's a winnable game at that point. But to come out and stick with Hank, and it really didn't get much better in the second half. I mean, these are some of the, we're going back to maybe 1998, from some of the history here in terms of Boise State finishing with under 100 yards, both rushing and passing. 93 passing yards, 84 rushing yards, total offense 177 yards. We believe maybe since 1997 in a game against Washington State, the first time they had under both 100 passing and rushing yards. We're looking into that moving forward here. But this was after the Collin, get it queued up for after the game. Let's just show the scene of J.L. Skinner if we can. The scene after the game where he was standing there on the sidelines and kind of what was going on there. I don't know if we can cue that up or not before we put it on there. We're going to go to some more comments here. Keep them coming. When does basketball season start? Karen Rains, who was in the stands tonight, that was hard to watch. It was. And here I am in the press box trying to watch my guy Albert Pujols hit 700 home runs, and I'm watching this debacle on the field. So that was kind of a rough night for me. Sick to my stomach by King Huggins. Avalos was a good hire, but Plow is not. I think it is time to compare Kansas football to Boise State. I don't know if I'd quite go there yet, but hot seat for Double O'Neill. Avalos isn't the answer. You've got Ben saying, just so freaking sad to see what has become of a powerful and proud program. Something has got to be shaken up. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you know, Boise State's brand is a national brand, but it's slowly slipping away. I mean, at some point, the 06 Fiesta Bowl and Ian Johnson scoring on the Statue of Liberty isn't going to mean much anymore. I mean, they've the last couple of years here certainly going in the wrong direction in terms of trying to keep up on a national stage. And you think about conference realignment and all the things on the table right now. To be 2-2 and now 9-7 in the Andy Avalos era certainly is not what you were looking for. This was the scene after the game. You see JL Skinner just kind of standing there. About 15 seconds straight of JL Skinner looking at the scoreboard, not wanting to shake any hands. There he is shaking a hand there. But JL Skinner and a lot of the players as stunned as everybody else was in the stands. And you know what? Give the players credit. They do it every game. Still went over and slapped 5 with all the fans that had made the trip all the way. You see folks there trying to support them and cheer them on. But obviously that's got to be a tough thing to do. Go slap the 5s of the fans after a performance like that. And, you can say all you want in terms of what word you want to use: embarrassing, disappointing, choke job, stunning. I mean, there's all the different adjectives that you want to lose. But it really is stunning to see that happen. I was drinking the Kool-Aid today. I thought today would be the day that things change. The first drive we saw in the second half, what you saw there to start the second half, they go up tempo, they go right down the field in a minute and 51 seconds or whatever and score a touchdown. It looks great, 75-yard drive. And it's like, well, where was that in the first half? They had tempo, they were moving it, they're in rhythm, and Hank had a great ball down the middle on third down. So at that point, everything was rolling, everything was great. And then they go back and just aren't able to replicate that anymore. So the whole slowing it down, I mean, only had 4 possessions in the first half. I mean, that's crazy to think about as well. 4 possessions in the first half. So you only get a field goal on one of them, but when you don't have very many possessions and you're taking the air out of the game by running the ball and huddling every play, you just don't get as many chances. So you have to take advantage of them when you do. And they had 4 possessions, only got 1 field goal in the first half. I think it was 53 yards of offense in the first half. That's just not going to get it done. Say goodbye to CJ Tiller and Dunbar. I know if I was a real recruit, I wouldn't want to go anywhere near this dumpster fire. I wouldn't say that. I mean, you're looking towards the future. Maybe Tiller and Dunbar and these guys see an opportunity for them to come in and play. That's certainly capable. Logan saying this show will be more entertaining than the game was. Here I am. Here I am to have some fun, feeling vindicated. James feeling vindicated for some comments earlier today. Didn't see it going well. All right, your prediction is Plow coaching at Boise State next week. Oh, man. I will say this. Something will change. Whether they change who calls the plays, whether there is a personnel change in general, whether it's a QB change, something has to change. You cannot go into San Diego State game with nothing changing. So am I predicting Tim Plow will be fired? I don't think I'm ready to go that far, but it would not surprise me one bit if the play calling duties are shaken up, or if we find out there's more involvement in the game planning from a Matt Miller. People are wanting Dirk Cutter to come in and start calling the plays. He's a part-time analyst making $24,000. I don't know if Dirk Cutter becomes your OC. And you know what? Maybe tomorrow afternoon we get the press release from Boise State that Dirk Cutter is a new OC. I have no idea. But I would not predict that to happen. But my predictions are batting about 0 right now. So maybe there's a good chance that does happen. Looks like he says, hey, ho, ho, Plow has got to go. Absolute disgrace. Stunning. Have you not been watching the previous games? Plow is so bad. Double O'Neill says, what's the excuse now? Just not acceptable. BSU and the entire community deserve better. We've got not stunning. A lot of us could see this from a mile away. New Mexico was at least good that year. UTEP will be 5-7 this year. Yeah, that's fair. Not all that stunning. Looks like a very similar offense to last week, just a better team. Jen, not giving up on the team or the season. There you go, Jen. And I guess if you are looking for a silver lining in all this, Boise State 1-0 in Mountain West play, sitting atop the Mountain West standings heading into a couple of games here. So all is not lost. You could still win the Mountain West. You can still win 10 games. You can still get to the SoFi Stadium LA Bowl there, the Jimmy Kimmel Bowl. All your goals are still technically attainable. This loss really didn't do a whole lot other than take you, making it where you're not going to get ranked anytime soon. But, tonight was pathetic. Season is definitely over now. Again, there's some serious changes that have to be made, but, you're going to hear all week that the goal is still attainable and the Mountain West and all that stuff. And it's true. It really is. They're right there trying to win the Mountain West. So that's certainly attainable. We're going to hear, we've got Andy Avalos. We got some highlights. We got the players coming in. Let's check out the highlights first. Not exactly a ton of them, but these were earlier in the game. There's the field goal for Boise State. This was the Boise State defense, which, again, everybody wants to talk about, and here's the field goal that tied the game from UTEP. The offense is going to get a lot of the hate in this game, but the defense didn't play particularly amazing as well. I know the offense didn't do much to help them. This was a big play that ended up being like an 8-yard gain after George Charles couldn't make the tackle there. But overall, I mean, the defense didn't have any turnovers. No turnovers on defense. Now, this play ended up coming back because of a penalty. This was the 61-yard play, I believe, that came back because of a penalty, but it was obviously a big play and one of a couple big plays. You see the flag there on the field. Nice camera work, Collin, zooming in on the flag there. This was just a game where Boise State defense, again, 40-20 was basically the time of possession. You saw a lot of things that obviously went wrong on offense, but here's the touchdown. Got past DJ Schramm, kind of a busted coverage there, and there's the 40, I believe it was 42 yards. Yep, from Ballard to Hardison there. That made it 10-3, UTEP in the lead at that point. Boise State, again, got it going to start the third quarter. Here's that touchdown pass. Nice play by Steph Cobbs breaking through. You're thinking, okay, 10-10. That was a 75-yard drive, only 8 plays, a minute 59. You're thinking, okay, Boise State's back in the game, looking good here. But the offense didn't do anything, didn't score a point the rest of the game. And the defense, again, just stayed on the field too long, couldn't get off on third down. The final third down numbers for, by the way, UTEP was 10 of 11 passing, only one incomplete pass for UTEP the whole game, but they were able to just milk the clock, rushing the ball. And on third down, they were 8 of 15, so 8 third down conversions for UTEP to move the chains. Really felt like they just did a really, really nice job of being able to control the clock, pick up some big third downs, and there's that punt return that really ended the game right there. That drive, Boise State went backwards. There was a penalty on the kickoff. First down was a negative play. You had a holding penalty, another negative play. And next thing you know, Boise State is going the wrong way. You punt it from your own 1-yard line, and then that happens. And there's after the game, again, J.L. Skinner just kind of standing there in frustration and disbelief, and did end up shaking 5 with some of the players there. But just a stunning loss. I'm not gonna use the word embarrassing. I mean, these guys try. They gave effort. They're out there. These are college kids, so I'm never going to use the word embarrassing, or I'd like to try to avoid that. But it's a stunning loss, and it's one that certainly is gonna, you would think, come with massive changes for Boise State here. I do want to play Andy Avalos here in a minute. Let's get to some more of your questions. Some more of your comments here as well. Let's go back up here. Fire Avalos. You just explained yourself with more candor than Avalos is capable of. We've got King Huggins, no improvement from week to week. Not stunning. Plow needs to go. We've got, I'll be honest, this hurts worse than the New Mexico loss. At least with the New Mexico loss, we beat ourselves this game. Truly stunning. Let's see what else we got going on here. Collin, if you're trying to send me a message, just text me or put it in here real quick. What's up? What? I already got them on YouTube. We're good. They're already in there. I'm ahead of you. Maybe make them from unlisted to public, but we should be good to go. You look at Collin working behind the scenes here, helping us out. Appreciate that. Let's get back to the comments here. Fire the OC now, according to Double O'Neill. Worst loss in BSU history. Plow ruined Hank. If I hear one more excuse from the staff, I don't know if the season can be salvaged at this point based on current trajectory. Again, technically, yes, it can. It can. You're 2-2, but you're 1-0 in Mountain West play. So yes, technically, you're undefeated in Mountain West play. But if you play anything like you did right there, this is going to be a really, really long season. You thought 7-5 last year was tough. They're 2-2 right now. BNN basketball season is going to be fire. I am looking forward to basketball season. Tough news about RJ Keene going out injured for the season, but I think the basketball team has a chance to be pretty exciting. Another one for the Fire of the OC. We were all lied to during fall camp. Coaches claimed it's not what they saw during camp. Explosive offense. We were told all fall how good the offense looked, all of August, and we weren't allowed to watch much of it. We could not watch most of the team drills. All we saw was a few practices, stretching, things like that. So we didn't get a chance to see a lot of it, and all we heard was how great the offense was and how great things were. And they, obviously haven't proven to be the case. If I see Tim Plow shrug one more time at a press conference, I'm officially all in on basketball. Football is a complete disaster. Lucky to go 4-8 this year. Fire Avalos. You've got the program is in trouble. Fire Plow and have Cutter or Matt Miller as OC again. I think I'd be a little surprised if they had Cutter, who's a part-time analyst, come all the way in and start calling the plays next week. But I could see Matt Miller. I don't think Tim Plow gets all out fired, but I do think maybe they say that there's a lot on his plate right now and they want to take some of the duties away. And maybe you let Matt Miller call the plays for a week. Just what offense are you going to do? Are you going to do this huddle up offense like you saw in the first half where you have 4 possessions and don't do much? Or do you go back to the up tempo that worked to start the third quarter and you go right down the field and score? So this back and forth with the two offenses just doesn't make much sense to me. You need to pick one and stick with it. And it looks like to me the up tempo one where you go fast is the one that Tim Plow wants to run and works better. But for whatever reason, we haven't been able to really see it. Miller time. I mean, yeah, that's the guy everybody probably wants. He called the plays up at Montana State. How do you fix this O-line? How long will it take? That's another option. I mean, again, not advocating and for anyone to lose their job, or if you're just looking at possible things Andy Avalos could do, one would be to potentially either relieve Tim Keene of his duties or move things around at some point. The offensive line has been pretty bad. You are dealing with some injuries. You had both your right guards not available today. You had to start a true freshman, Roger Carrion, at right guard. You had Kekani Holamia Gonzalez getting benched in this game, and you started with moving Will Farah to center. So they're obviously trying to shift things up on the O-line. The injuries are not helping. But I think Tim Keene is, going to be a guy that, maybe he's the scapegoat. Maybe they blame him and relieve him of his duties. I don't know, but that certainly is an option. I'm not saying I would do that. But I do think that it's, Collin, I've got it on mine, so you can go ahead and take it off, Collin. I'll add it in here, but I appreciate it because I don't want to make sure we have the higher quality version. Go Jayhawks. Yeah, big one tomorrow against Duke at 10 a.m. Matt Miller, new OC, sad and embarrassing. Miller light time, zero faith. And Avalos, that Avalos will fire Plow. Kellen Moore for coach and QB. That's not happening. They tried, and it's not happening. Dirk, interim coach. Realistically, put Matt Miller in there and start Green. That would certainly be a heck of a change. You switch OCs and you switch quarterbacks. One or the other could happen. I don't think both will happen, but we'll see. Realistic, Hank on the bench, Plow gone. Maybe Andy gets one more year. This guy wants everybody gone. Fire Tim Plow, fire Keene, start Green, keep running Helani. Geez, I've only coached NCAA football 014. I have a better grasp. Funny that Leon Rice, who a year ago was being asked to get fired, is the premier Boise State coach now. Interesting how that changes. 9-7, new OC. Yes, I even saw some people on social media calling for Brian Harsin to come back as coach. What would you think of Brian Harsin coming back as coach or even as offensive coordinator, maybe if he were to get let go at Auburn? I even saw some fans asking for that. James saying, unfortunately, not much we can do during the season. Maybe coaching changes on the offensive side, new scheme. Definitely TG. I think more eyes on Dickey come November. Holy cow, BJ is finally saying it. We've been saying it for 4 weeks. What would that be, Max? 16-point favorites, new O-line coach. Yes, time to pay Kellen that money. Let's get some less predictable play calls. Don't know if you were listening. Even the announcers were questioning the play calling. No, I'm in the press box here. Was not listening to that. Purge, Plow, bench Bachmeyer, worst loss in BSU history. Disgusting. Change needs to happen and happen fast. First, you have players, coaches calling out the fans. And then giving a performance like this. I don't know who is calling out the fans, the players and coaches necessarily calling out the fans, but maybe they were. Air Force is going to own us if there's no changes. Utah State one was worse, according to James, but no turnovers. I guess that was a positive, right? You didn't have a turnover today. Demote Plow to a consultant, move Dirk into the OC spot. Don't think that's happening, but I do think that's, that is something that people are throwing out there as a scenario. Hank has to go, fire Plow. Peter says great game, so must be a UTEP fan there. James saying he called it 3 weeks ago, 3-pronged running attack, use the space, the line can't handle it. Realistically, Plow has got to go. The offense arguably has gotten worse game to game. Again, when you went into the second half, when you went in there in the end of the second half and you had your 20-minute break to talk things through, I was very surprised they did not go to Talon Green at that point. I really thought going into the third quarter, Talon Green was going to be the option. I'm very surprised that they didn't go for that and switch it up. And I did ask Andy Avalos about that after the game. We'll hear from that in a minute. I want to get through a couple more of these comments first. Season tickets for over 20 years. Don't want to go anymore unless someone is fired. It was a team loss. 40-20, how can they get stops when they can't catch their breath? Yeah, it goes both ways. I'll give you that part of it, but I did also think that you certainly had some chances for them to get off the field on third down, and they couldn't do it. So I think it goes both ways. Why didn't they put Taylor Green in? Again, I don't know the answer to that. I was asking for that. I said it on Twitter at halftime, and I really thought to just give him a spark. I'm not even saying Hank Bachmeier was the problem. I mean, yes, he did go. What did he go today? 10. This is one of the weirder stat lines from a quarterback I've seen. He finished 13 of 34. 13 of 34 for 93 yards for Hank Bachmeier. And he got 28 of those 93 yards on one completion. So 13 of 34 for Bachmeier. I would have gone to Green at some point. I think it would have been the right move to do. Boise State decided not to do that. And again, you look at the total yards. Boise State only gets 14 first downs. They had 84 rushing yards, 93 passing yards. 84 rushing yards, 93 passing yards. They only complete 13 passes in the game. And again, 177 offensive yards. It's one of the only games we can find going back to 1997 where Boise State had under 100 rushing and passing yards. So we're going back in the history books for the wrong reasons here. I do want to play Andy Avalos' full post game, but before I do, I want to thank a couple of our great sponsors. Transportation Compliance Service. If you're looking to get into the trucking industry, transcomservice.com can help you out. Whether you want to drive that big rig on the screen or the Amazon truck in your neighborhood, they can help you every step of the way with all the permits and things you need to get out there towing that first load in no time. If you want to meet JL Skinner and try to wish him best of luck the rest of the season, try to keep his spirits up, JL Skinner will be back in Boise tomorrow morning at the Blue and Orange store, 11 a.m., the Blue and Orange store there at the Boise Town Square Mall. You can meet JL Skinner, get his autograph. It's a free event. It's an NIL deal through the Blue and Orange store. So go meet JL Skinner tomorrow at the Blue and Orange store, 11 a.m., and try to pump him up and give him some support because things are obviously going pretty tough right now. Ridley's Family Market, shopridleys.com, 13 Idaho locations, the at-home shopping, the Skip app, the home delivery, all that great stuff. Check them out, shopridleys.com. If you own a business, how about business insurance in 44 states around the country? United Commercial Insurance can help you out. Check them out, unitedcommercialinsurance.com. They make business insurance easy. All your business policies insurance. A quick call, 229-8222, can save you hundreds of dollars. And, of course, our friends at Boise Dentistry Co. as well. Full family dentistry. Check them out. Locations across the Treasure Valley. 906-1255 is that phone number. But family dentistry and wellness. And again, those are my kids on the screen there. You got grandparents, aunts, uncles, whoever in your family. Full family dentistry. Check them out. BoiseDentistryCo.com. Let's get the Andy Avalos full post-game interview up here. It's about 5 minutes long. We'll play it. We'll talk about it. We'll get your thoughts. Here's Andy Avalos full post-game after the loss to UTEP.
We obviously were not our best tonight, regardless of who we were missing. We're capable of being a lot better, and it starts with me, number one, and first and foremost. We got to make sure that we are ready to go, and the bottom line is we had our opportunities tonight, and especially early on, and we weren't able to capitalize on some of the situations, and we obviously got worn down on defense.
You guys are held up 53 yards on offense in the first half. And what are the conversations like at halftime, and what made you guys go to the up-tempo offense in the second half?
Well, obviously being able to earn a first down and get rolling, that's typically what we want to do, is get the tempo going once we get rolling. Obviously earning a first down is always the first objective, and we were just getting behind the chains, on first down and second down and long, and then ending up in third and longs. Those are never favorable situations to be in, and we put ourselves in tough situations, field position wise, and we didn't execute well. Obviously on the backed up punt, we kicked the line drive, and we weren't able to get out in coverage.
When the offense is struggling like that, how much thought did you give maybe going to Taylor at some point?
Right, and so that's something that we discussed and talked about. Hank's obviously banked a lot more reps, when you go into that mode, in that 2-minute mode. But there was a plan built in to get Taylor in the game. We just weren't able to get to it, and we only had 4 drives in the first half. But there was a certain series that it was going to go into in the first half. We just never got to it.
When you guys are in the first half taking more clock and both teams are going like that, and you only get the 4 possessions, how much more emphasis does that put that on scoring on the drives you do get, because you didn't get many? Yeah,
every drive. I mean, we got to score, and it obviously starts with getting ahead on first down, and we didn't do that in the first half. And that's the bottom line. And you get behind the chains, and you're on the road, and you're dealing with the crowd noise on third down and second down like that. I mean, we can't put ourselves in those situations.
Even the defense, which was so good up to this point, kind of had some tough areas when it came to their rushing attack. I mean, what do you see from your defense?
Yeah, I mean, the time of possession was 40-19. They were on the field the whole game. So, we got to do a better job of rotating those guys in there earlier on in the game so they don't get so worn down because I think we can see how tired they were there at the end.
I was going to ask about it before I forget. DJ Schramm, what do you think of the way that he played tonight?
He battled. He's been battling. He played a ton. Tonight, obviously, we're missing Zeke tonight. And, he was out there battling and fitting up those the run game, and he did a solid job in some of the things he had in terms of his blitzer.
I know that you guys have tried a number of things on offense, Andy, but how do you find some rhythm, some consistency on that side of the ball?
Yeah, there's no question, and that's obviously the big to-do that that we have to get going here really quick, and there's enough talk that's been done about it. Now we got to put something into place and put some action going forward. The one thing that I will say is, it starts with us, and it starts with me as a coach, and making sure that our offensive coaches and myself, we're putting our offense in the best situation because we got guys that are working their tails off, and really, they got a huge care factor, and so like we just told them in the locker room, we will be better for them, and we're looking forward to obviously getting moving forward because our goal is still in front of us as we move into conference play.
After a tough game like this, I mean, do you at some point have to consider, major changes, whether that's in your personnel or your coaching staff?
Well, we're going to go and look at the film, and we're going to look at the film, and we're going to really dissect the things that we're going to move forward on.
Obviously, a tough stretch coming up with San Diego State, Fresno State, Air Force, and back-to-back games. What do you guys need to fix to kind of get ready for that stretch and to save this season?
Yeah, there's no question. I think, again, our goal is still sitting right in front of us. We played one conference game. We're 1-0 in conference, and we got a lot of work to do here as we go on this stretch, and we know that, and that's why the most important thing here is getting home, getting some rest so that we can get up and we can, again, take a look at this film and really set our hooks in on how we're going to move forward.
With Jonah out there, a 55-yard field goal, did you give any thought to that at that point in time, Andy?
No.
And there it is, Andy Avalos talking. No thought to the 55-yard field goal. They were down 10 at that point, I believe, and it was fourth down. That could have made it a 7-point game, I believe, if I have my my spot right there. So 93 comments we got to get to here. Wow, we are setting some records. We appreciate all you guys for checking us out. 95 comments now, so we'll try to get to this. We've got 200 plus people watching this live over our different channels here at 11:40 at night. We're setting records, unfortunately not for the right reasons here for Boise State. Green will transfer if we don't use him. Hank is overrated, talentless. That's on the coaching. Do you know Andy's buyout if he's fired during the year? Does it increase if he's fired at the end of the year? Andy Avalos ain't getting fired. You're not a first-time AD and admitting a mistake like that a year and a half into it. So Andy Avalos ain't going anywhere. I think they could go winless the rest of the season, and I don't think Andy Avalos is getting fired. I do think that there could be some pressure to make some staff changes, whether that be now or after the season. But I don't see Andy Avalos going anywhere at this point. The Green will transfer if he don't use him as an interesting one, because I'm just going to throw this out there. Hank Bachmeier could technically transfer right now and count this as a red shirt. Hank Bachmeier has played in 4 games this year, so he can not play again the rest of the season. He can either officially transfer or just sit out and leave the team, and he could count this as a red shirt and get this season back. And then he also has a COVID year left, so Hank Bachmeier could theoretically transfer and have 2 years left. And I think there may have been some thought in the second half that if you go to Taylor Green in the second half and win the game, that Bachmeier might have said, heck with this, I'm out of here. I don't know if that played into things, why they didn't go to Taylor Green, but if Hank Bachmeier might have got unhappy and said, I'm gone, you may have lost Hank Bachmeier at this point. Again, I'm just throwing out scenarios and possibilities at 11:40 on a Friday night while everyone's hopefully enjoying their Cutwater canned cocktails after this one. I could use a few after this one. It's also about 100 degrees in here, and they have no air conditioning in the press box, so I apologize, but I am sweating like crazy in here because we had to go down on the field, do the interviews, run back up. We've been going nonstop here. We were losing anyway. Should have just given Green a chance. The receivers did drop some passes. Yeah, there was a big one that Billy Bowens dropped on 2nd and long that would have given him a closer spot. If a player can't handle the situation, that's on the coaching straight up. I think he's talking about Taylor Green maybe in the 2-minute drill. Green should have been in with 3 minutes left in the third, down 13-10. Yeah, that would have been a good one because you're not necessarily having to run the 2-minute drill at that point. We got the first Frank Maile seat heating up too. First one this season on Frank Maile job security question. The defensive line was expected to come in and be very, very good. And again, they were kind of getting pushed around a little bit by the offensive line. I don't think there were any sacks today. No sacks, I think, for Boise State's defense yet again. Avalos has no sense of energy or urgency. We need to score every drive. Too complacent, sad, pitiful. They say Hank is the better thrower. There's no way Taylor Green is that bad. His mobility would add so much to the offense. Hey, that's why I said it. At halftime, I would have gone to Taylor Green. I like Hank Bachmeier. I still think Hank Bachmeier probably starts against San Diego State and probably should. I don't know. I would have at halftime. I thought it was the perfect opportunity. You have your 20-minute break. Let Taylor Green know he's going in. Go over some plays and a game plan to get Taylor Green comfortable and go from there and see if you can spark the offense. That didn't happen. The offense actually had the impressive 75-yard drive right down the field, but they weren't able to do anything with it. And again, they were able to score that one touchdown and then not score again the rest of the game. And they fall 27-10, 10 points for the Boise State offense, 177 yards. Pretty remarkable. Let's see what else here. You got 3 strong runners. Use them. That's all we got. Avalos too busy chewing his gum on the sidelines. Hank shouldn't see the field the rest of the year. No reason. Let Taylor Green figure it out. Hank can't improvise. Good QB improvises when in trouble. He has cement blocks on his feet. You did not just say Hank looked good. If I said that, then I apologize. He looked good on the one drive in the second half. The third quarter, I thought Hank looked great. He had a great drive in the third quarter, and he had a great pass over the middle. I thought on that drive he looked great. If I misspoke, no. Hank Bachmeier had 16 passing yards in the first half. Again, I'm not saying it was all his fault. I think the O-line didn't play great. I think you can throw play calling. You can throw drops. There were a lot of different reasons. I don't think he was the only reason, but he was only 13 of 34. So if I said that incorrectly, I apologize to that. I've defended Hank for a while, but it's time. He missed open throw after open throw. Lay off Hank as a person. There's more to the story than we know. I do agree with that, Jake. I'm just talking strictly football in terms of my analysis there. Stick to my stomach, according to Double O'Neill. You've got going to be sad when I don't know who Taylor Green is. Taylor Green enters the portal. He has the talent. We should learn how to start working with this type of play. The staff needs to go. Plow should have been fired at halftime. Again, Jen is not giving up on this team. Kansas would kick our ass. Wow, I don't know if that's ever been said on this about Boise State football, but I kind of like that, to be honest with you, as a Kansas guy. Now we have Marlene Tromp is the issue. It's obvious. Almost like the alumni that wanted Jeff Choate instead of Avalos were onto something. Is Hank's story going to be move the ball down the field? The halftime guys will never pick BSU to win again. Facts. Big changes need to be made this week. Chief Lee might not be the only person resigning this weekend. What an embarrassment. We'll be lucky to be bowl eligible this year. Too many good players to be this bad. Time to name Dirk Cutter as the interim head coach and hire a new staff. That's not happening. At what point do we lose our first commitment? I mean, that's certainly something other people have mentioned too. Wouldn't be surprised if JL sits out. Good luck to him. You got the draft coming up, maybe saying he wouldn't play the rest of the season to stay healthy. I don't think that happens. 53 yards of offense at half against 1-3 UTEP. This coaching staff has to go. Tim Plow needs the Lane Kiffin treatment, get fired on the tarmac. If Dickey knew what he was doing, he would have been gone after Oregon State. It's not really, it's not really, I guess Dickey technically could do it, but that's really a Andy Avalos thing. Dickey could put some pressure on Avalos to make a move, but Andy Avalos is the one that would ultimately, I think, make that call there. Any chance Boise State could secure Urban Meyer? We got an Urban Meyer request here on the post-game show. Hadn't heard that name and thought of that name connected with Boise State anytime recently. I don't think Urban Meyer is coming to Boise State. I don't see that happening. But that's a great suggestion, Urban Meyer. I've heard Scott Frost is OC. We've heard all these different names. Yeah, James, they're telling James to put down the Cutwater cocktails, wanting Urban Meyer to come coach at Boise State. Double O'Neill is still so mad that he can't type. Mike Rogalski, Boise State fan for life. Is it me, or did it look like the wide receivers looked like they were jogging on their routes? Yeah. I mean, I wasn't watching every receiver on every route, so it's hard to say there. Hard to be part of a signature program win for the other team. How about this? I wrote about this. This is the lead to my story. I wrote a real quick story that's up on the website now, and then I'll go update it with some quotes and stuff after we get done with this show. But what does it say about Boise State's program that UTEP did not storm the field? I mean, 16-point favorite for Boise State. You think about Boise State coming into UTEP, and the fact that they did not storm the field, there was like people getting cameras ready. Oh, they're going to storm the field. Maybe they're going to. And the fact that they didn't, like it wasn't a big enough win to beat Boise State and not storm the field. Like that says all you need to know about Boise State's program right there, in my opinion. The fact that you just, lost as a 16-point favorite on the road at UTEP, and you didn't even storm the field. I mean, that just says all you need to know about where Boise State's program is at right now, where that's not considered a big win or an upset win big enough to storm the field at a place like UTEP. So I did find that notable. I'll just say that. I do want to get to some more of your comments. I want to play Scott Matlock here as well. I have a couple more of our great sponsors I do want to thank first, though. Matt Boucher Real Estate, #1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley. Make sure to check out Boucher Real Estate. No home is too big or too small. Check out Boucher Real Estate. Timberstone Golf Course as well. PlayTimberstone.com. Book that tee time. The weather's perfect right now, so get out there and book your tee time. As I said, Cutwater Canned Cocktails. We're broadcasting from the Cutwater Canned Cocktails on the road, a big sponsor of ours, so we appreciate them. Check out the pre-made mixed cocktails at your local grocery store or gas station. I mentioned our three major sponsors, ICCU. Check them out, ICCU.com. They sponsor our road trip coverage. We appreciate them. The Lithia Ford of Boise Fall Kickoff Sale. They'll buy your used vehicle. They'll make you a cash offer on the spot, even if you're not going to buy a vehicle from them. So check them out at Lithia Ford of Boise. And then, of course, our title sponsor, rowpaint.com. The concrete coating for your garage, your back patio, your basement. Check them out. It's 4 times stronger than epoxy. And also, if you're looking to get the interior of your house painted, they're offering that 10% off deal right now for the interior painting. And again, check them out. That is at rowpaint.com. Let's hear from Scott Matlock, one of the team captains for Boise State, speaking with the media after Boise State, again, 27-10, a stunning loss for the Broncos here in El Paso. And here is Scott Matlock speaking to the media after the game.
I mean, it's disappointing. It's frustrating. It's not how we want to play for sure. So, just got to learn, got to grow, got to be better.
How surprising was it to have a game like this? You guys came down feeling really confident about this one.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to be confident every game we play. I mean, we know who we are, we know how we play, and not executing and playing the way we play is frustrating.
UTEP started hitting some big run plays in the second half. What did they do there to kind of get those openings?
Yeah, it's a team game. Everyone has to do their 1/11th on the field, and if one guy doesn't do their job, whether it's the front linebacker, safety, then they're going to hit those runs. So we need to do a better job of just handling our business, making sure that you do your job on the field to the best of your ability so that those runs don't hit.
Scott, I know you're like going to say you're going to have to deal with the circumstances that are thrown at you, but when you guys are on the field that much as a defense, how hard is that to overcome?
I mean, it's not ideal, but, it is what it is. It's football. You got to ruck up, sack up, and keep swinging. There's no excuse. 10-play drive, 15-play drive, it doesn't matter. We shouldn't be on the field that long regardless, to our standard at least. But if we are, stay in the fight. It's got to keep swinging.
That offense had 7 turnovers last week. How badly did you guys need to try to create a game-changing play on defense? You just couldn't get it tonight.
Yeah, turnovers are huge. If they did a good job, obviously, practicing this last week of taking care of the ball, and they did that. We need to do a better job of creating takeaways so that we can get the ball back to our offense and they have more opportunities to score.
How do you guys as leaders and captains kind of regroup the team going into this tough stretch coming up?
We need to set the example ourselves and show everyone, how things need to be done. And once we handle our business and do our job and our responsibility, then we can start bringing others with us along that same path.
DJ Schramm had 16 tackles tonight. He had 11 at halftime. What would you think of his effort?
Wow. He's a great player. Very big heart. He wants it more than anybody. Just a relentless man, and wow, that's impressive. Yeah.
Well, there he is. Scott Matlock, kind of at a loss for words there. Yeah, we should point out DJ Schramm, 16 tackles. Nice work by him. You had JL Skinner with 13 tackles. Dimitri Washington with 11. Dimitri also had a sack and 2 tackles for loss. 9 tackles for George Tarlas. So Schramm, Skinner, Washington, and Tarlas all had some nice tackle numbers, but overall on defense, just not enough. On offense, I mentioned Hank Bachmeier, 13 of 34 for 93 yards. George Lonnie did rush for 75 yards on 16 carries. He averaged 4.7 yards per carry. From the receiving game, you had Steph Cobbs, 5 catches, 31 yards, and the touchdown. Latrell Caples, 4 catches for 32 yards. Billy Bowens, 2 for 17. Tyneil Hopper had 1 catch for 11 yards, and Matt Lauder, maybe his first career catch, 1 catch for 2. You had 3 targets for Davis Cutter, no catches. Cole Wright was targeted twice, didn't catch one either. And again, it was 13 for 34 for Hank Bachmeier. 93 yards is all that he passed for in this one. You did have 6 punts for James Ferguson Reynolds, 44.3 average. But that one series, you had obviously the punt return touchdown on him. We forgot to ask Andy Avalos about that with everything else that was going on. You're punting from your own 1-yard line. He's in the very back of the end zone, had 1 foot on the end zone at that point, just in front of the line, trying not to get a safety. It's a short, low liner of a punt, and then that allowed them to get in good return situation, and they were able to return that punt and take it back to the house. Let's get to some more of your comments. We do have John Ojuku we can play as well. This is the Lithia Ford of Boise Bronco Nation News post-game show. Thank you to Lithia Ford of Boise for sponsoring our post-game show, and check out their website, lithiafordboise.com, for all of their great deals. Our road trip coverage is sponsored as well by Idaho Central Credit Union. They help get us on the road, so we do appreciate them for their support. Let's see. Tim Plow is essentially trying to play Madden. RPO half 100 Tim Plow. I want to know who was taking notes to come back and make fun of for us who were worried. Where were you at now? I want an apology. Now it's easy for all the fans, and you guys just say, oh, yeah, blame the media. Now can we panic? Like, all I said was, me personally, I don't care about style points. They won the game. Tonight, obviously, you didn't win the game. So it's obvious that there are some big problems that now a loss kind of exploits. And says Zach, it's a seltzer. Okay, that's fine, James. Can we call down to Dallas, get Kellen Moore to come back? No, it's not happening. Even on the first drive of the second half, no separation from any of the wide receivers. Took a perfect ball placement from Hank, nearly every one of those throws to get going on that drive. Max said he lived across the street from Choate as a kid. When he was here running the running backs, he was blue-collar mentality. I was saying earlier, when the plays are scripted, Hank does fine. Other than that, nothing. Half the time, you cannot even tell who Hank is throwing to. He was under some duress again today. The O-line not up to par again. Some more struggles from the offensive line. And so he was running. Hank not very accurate. Wideouts can't run sharp routes and get separation. That's a bad combo. Plow sucks. He's so pathetic. The bus that Coach Pete Hawk and Cutter helped build has been stripped and sold for parts and left in a field in Marsing, Idaho. The analogy has some merit to it, man. This program had become the pinnacle. I mean, this program was ranked as high as number 2 in the country, I believe, at one point. Number 3 in that game against Virginia Tech. You're rolling. You don't miss that kick. You maybe play in the Rose Bowl, or maybe you have a chance to get into the playoff that year. And you've won 3 Fiesta Bowls. You've gotten to the almost as high as you can get, and to now be 9-7 under Andy Avalos. It didn't exactly go well in the final couple of years, with Brian Harshen too, in terms of winning the Mountain West consistently. Program has had better days, and as a diehard Boise State fan, I'm sure that's tough for everybody on the stream right now, wanting to see the program get back to that level, and it's just not happening right now. And why that is the case, is up for debate. And what changes come of this, I think, are going to be, very telling. Andy Avalos not denying that there could be a coaching change, or that there could be a coaching change, that there could be personnel changes. We'll play the shorter clip from Andy Avalos again here in a minute for those that came in late. Asked specifically about how you get it turned around, and also what do you do in terms of potential for personnel changes. One of those that people are wanting for is Taylon Green. Time for him to take over going into conference play. Maybe the change can give the guys some hope. Tom says the coaching staff is the problem. Hank, as a true freshman, could run an offense. Fire Plow. Fire him now. Love our Broncos, including Andy. Certainly feel bad for him being on the hot seat, but given these guys are paid mega money to compete, something needs to change. James had a comment that folks thought he was drinking whiskey, but he says it's only a seltzer. You got to get that Cutwater, man. Come on, the Cutwater canned cocktails. Telling you, they're awesome. Let's see. Can we mention anything about Trump? I don't know what Marlene Trump. I saw her after the game. She was here, so I just mentioned her. I'm not sure what she can do about some of the play calling and things like that at this point. Tim Plow should be fired. Worst thing to happen to our program in years. The other team knew our plays better than we did. You got to give UTEP some credit, man. I know Boise State obviously didn't play well at all, but UTEP's defensive coordinator and their defensive staff came in and really had a strong game plan to hold Boise State to 10 points. Coaching staff needs to hand in their paychecks for the week. Billy Bowen sucks. Bench him too. You think we should have changes in the coaching staff before San Diego? Again, I'll just be honest. I would be surprised if Tim Plow actually gets fired. I don't see that happening. I could potentially see some of his duties being taken off his plate, and maybe that includes the play calling. Maybe you let Matt Miller call the plays for a week or be more heavily involved in the game plan. I think we'll find out that something changed, but I would be a little surprised if they just straight up fire Tim Plow or Tim Keene at this point in the season. Could happen, might happen, but I think some sort of reassigning of roles and having somebody else call the plays maybe is more likely. Is it? And this is another thing. Is it actually Plow or is it Andy not allowing him to be himself? Well, I think that's a very valid point because you saw what could happen there in the first drive of the second half when things were rolling. That was Tim Plow's offense. They were hurrying to the line and they were snapping the ball before UTEP was even set. There was a big third down play over the middle where UTEP's linebackers were looking at the sidelines for the play when the ball was snapped, and you had a guy wide open over the middle of the field. So when they go fast and do what they want to do, at times it looks pretty much unstoppable. And so why they continue to not, why they go away from that? Do they not think they have good enough wide receivers? Do they not have enough faith in Bachmeier, the O-line? Is it, I don't know. Is it Andy Avalos just saying, hey, we don't need to do that? Let's control the clock. Well, how'd that work out for you today? The time of possession was 40 minutes in favor of UTEP. So that didn't exactly work today. Ryan says, just let Kellen call the plays from Dallas. That would be something, wouldn't it? Don't see Matt Miller calling plays. He did it at Montana State. So I'm just saying, I think it's obviously an option. Totally embarrassed, Kurt Blake. Predictions batting 0. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I mean, again, I was trying to have the optimist approach that Boise State was going to play well. So get at me all you want for me being wrong, but I was trying to be on your guys' side and predict a positive outcome for Boise State. It just obviously did not go well. Fire the entire coaching staff at the end. That's not going to happen. Will not support the program or pay to go to these games, not with Plow there. I will say that I had a couple prominent boosters texting me tonight during the game, and they were unhappy. I'm not going to read some of these messages, but I had multiple, and I will say more than one booster of the program calling basically for something to change. So we'll have to see. Time for a change. You're dreaming, BJ. I'm not sure what I'm dreaming about. I've agreed that it's probably time for some sort of change. I don't think there's any scenario where you go into the San Diego State game and Hank Bachmeier takes the first snap and Tim Plow is calling the plays as OC and Tim Keene's your O-line coach and nothing changes. I mean, what's the definition of insanity? I mean, something has to change for conference play. Is the team better than they played tonight? I believe so, yes. Can you go into the conference play and 2 big games with nothing else changing? No, I don't think you can. Something has to change, but I just don't know what it's going to be at this point. Now we have someone calling for Butch Hamden to come back. Billy Bowen does not fix his hands. Put down the crack pipe. They aren't winning 10 games. I don't see a bowl game in this. We can still make the championship game. I'm not predicting they are going to win the Mountain West or win 10 games. I'm just saying they can. They're undefeated in conference play. They win the rest of their games, or even maybe 6 of the 8 or 7. They're going to probably be in the championship game if they win most of their games. So I'm just saying there is a path. I'm not predicting it, but if they can get something figured out here, the season is not lost at this point. Here's Ryan saying the season's definitely over. The loss will set the program back for years to come, going 100% in on basketball. Man, this is can Tyson Degenhart play quarterback? he'd be a pretty good, pretty hard guy to tackle there, probably at his size. Let's see. Can't afford him. Andy did want Bush. I don't know the answer to that. That was the weakest team left on the schedule. Yeah, probably is. What highlights, according to Gina? Thank you, BJ. Every time they lose, yes, I say they, not we. We are not on the field. We are not feeling what they are feeling right now. No doubt about it. It was a pretty quiet locker room, I'm sure. Not a lot was said or going on. Brian saying the Mountain West is bad. Air Force and Fresno look way better than Boise State still. Are we insane? Are you insane? We can't beat this team, and you're saying you're still thinking conference championship. No, I didn't say that. I'm just saying it is possible. If they make changes to the offense or the coaching staff or somehow figure something out, yes, it is still possible for Boise State to win the Mountain West. They're undefeated right now in Mountain West play. And if you're a Boise State fan, that's all you have left. You have to just kind of look at that Mountain West title and say, you know what, our goals are still in front of us. Let's rally around this team and see what happens. Now I'm curious what the crowd's going to look like at for the San Diego State game, 6 o'clock on a Friday. How restless are they going to be if Hank Bachmeier starts and doesn't get off to a good start? We got Skylar saying he misses Brian Harsin. I'm not sure a lot of people would have said that, this time last year or even any time in the recent past, but Brian Harsin may be out of a job too if they lose to Missouri tomorrow. We'll see. King predicting no bowl game. Final record, O'Neill says 5-7. Avalos out of his league. This is embarrassing. We still have Colorado State, so at least one more win. First possession, we get the ball in the 40 and can't punch it in. You have to score a TD there. Yeah, that was bad. Boise State's defense gets the 3-and-out to start the game. You get the horrible punt, which went like 7 yards. You're starting the ball like the 38-yard line or whatever it is. You take 6 minutes off the clock. You run 10 plays, and you have to settle inside the 10-yard line for a field goal. That was a very tough, very disappointing start to the game. If you score a touchdown with the short field there, get some momentum rolling, maybe it's a completely different game. But to go 10 plays, chew up over half the clock in the first quarter right there and be stuck with a field goal, that just that was, I agree, that was a rough start to the game for Boise State. Gina says I'm hoarse from yelling at Bachmeier to throw the ball. The defense is at least meeting expectations. They can't do it all. Yes, I didn't think they were perfect tonight. They gave up some big plays. They gave up some big third downs, couldn't get off the field. Andy Avalos talked about putting more players in on defense and rotating more so you have more guys that can be in there and fresher later in the game. What's the secret for BYU and Utah State? Defense has really held it down, but man, the defense seems like they really underestimated their opponents in the training room. 5-7 season for Nicholas. You can't play defense without catching your breath. 9-minute drive. Well, get off the field on third down, and then you don't have to. Derek Harris, good to hear from you, man. Logistically, I think Avalos stays unless the school can afford a buyout. Tim Plow should have begun to pack up at Corvallis. Andy Avalos is not getting fired. That's not even a thought right now. So don't think about that, folks. He's not going anywhere. They could lose every game the rest of the season, and Andy Avalos is not getting fired. You don't fire a head coach 2 years in, unless maybe you're Auburn. But there's other things they can do to change it. Andy Avalos is not the thing that happens at this point. Boise will go 4-8 or 5-7. Got to deal with it. Tough pill to swallow. Glory days are over. They ended on a snowy night against Fresno in 2018. Losing that was in 2018. You lost at home to Fresno on the blue in the Mountain West title game, and even though it's been you got to the championship game in 19 and lost that. You have 17, obviously, with the season where you won the championship and then beat Oregon in the bowl game. 19 was the Jalen Henderson. 19, you won the Mountain West against Hawaii thanks to Jalen Henderson, and then you lost in the bowl game when Hank started. That's right. I'm betting if we lose out, Plow is the O coordinator. There's a chance they make a move there. I really do. I don't know if he's fired, but I think you could see them letting somebody else call the plays or something. I don't know. Boise State won't play any games if they play like that. It won't win if they play like that again. 53 offensive yards in the first half, 16 passing yards. Fire Plow. Plow ruined our program. Fire Plow. This guy's hoarse from yelling to bench Bachmeier. Embrace the past, attack the future. The Brian Harsin line there. Can't imagine us winning more than 6 games. Man, the comments are really rolling in. We really appreciate this as we hit the 1 hour mark of our show. Let's hear from our other player that we talked to, the captain, John Ojukwu. This is the offensive lineman, team captain, John Ojukwu. Here he is speaking to the media after the game.
Didn't get done, plain and simple like that.
we got to stay in the fight. It doesn't matter if it's the beginning of the game, the end of the game, middle of the game. Every single play, every single rep, every single drive. Got to stay in the fight. John, the consistencies on offense or inconsistencies, I guess, tonight. How do you guys get that corrected? How do you guys move forward from here?
Every single drive, like I said, every single drive, every single play matters. Can't take anything off. Every single person has to do their job. Doesn't matter if you're on the backside or front side of a play.
How do you feel Roger did tonight? I mean, a true freshman got thrown into the fire probably quicker than anybody would have anticipated.
Like you said, young guy, been here for 3 or 4 months now, so a lot on his plate, and we'll watch film, but I think he did a good job communicating and working.
I know you guys are confident in this offense. You're confident in Hank. I mean, how surprising is it to come out here and have 177 yards of offense?
Not the standard. Simple as that. We got to get the ball moving, run the game and pass game. We got to protect the quarterback, so it's all over.
There was so much talk coming into the season about the way you guys trained in the offseason in terms of responding to adversity, and it was like surprise adverse situations. How can you guys use that? How can you guys use that to respond better?
Just throughout the week, we need to build that on. Can't just be on game day, because sometimes you're going to get punched in the mouth. You got to respond.
You guys only had 4 possessions in the first half. I mean, how does that make that, I guess? You only get 4 possessions, and you got to make them count.
Well, everyone counts. Every single drive, every single rep, everything counts. You got to do your 1/11th and get the job done.
It might be cliche to call stuff like this eye-opening, but is this eye-opening at all, John?
Yeah, it lets you know what your inadequacies are, and you got to move on from there.
You guys have San Diego State coming into town next week. What do you guys have to clean up between now and then to get ready for that game?
Biggest thing is just the fight. Just every single play, like I said, everybody's got to do their 1/11th and do their job.
It looked like Kikani came in there at the end. I don't know if he's better running an up-tempo or why'd you guys make that move, I guess?
I'm just mixing the line around, seeing how things would work.
How tough is it on the offensive line to go from like a slow ball control offense in the first half to an up-tempo offense in the second half? Is it difficult? Is that a difficult transition for you guys?
We practice it a lot, so not too much in the game.
How did the coaches tell you that's what you were going to come out with in the third quarter?
We're just going to fight and attack, and we're going to start fast and get the ball rolling and keep on rolling.
When we see that drive, it looks great. 2 minutes, you go 75 yards. I mean, why is it so hard to not do that more often?
We just have to stay consistent. Like, we can't be we can't settle for that one drive. Once we do that drive, it's next drive, next play mentality. You can't settle for the last one. Like, oh, we scored. Okay, we're good. You got to keep on rolling.
You're going to have a lot of disappointed fans. People saying whatever. How confident are you that you guys can still, rally things here and get it turned around in the right direction?
Well, we still have our goal, which is to win a Mountain West Championship, and that all starts this next week. Starts tonight. Starts tomorrow. So we got to keep on rolling and learn from our mistakes here and move on from it.
John, we asked this to Scott. You guys have added responsibility as team captains. So how do you show up tomorrow to try to help remedy a loss like tonight?
Well, the spotlight's on us a little bit more, but just got to keep our heads up and focus on what we need to focus on for this next week. Learn from this last one and move on.
Well, there he is. You heard it from John Ojukwu. You got to learn from this one and move on. Boise State again falling 27-10. I have to keep looking at the final score here to make sure I had it right. Another 25 comments came in during the video, so we'll try to get back here and make sure we don't miss any. Let's see. Tom Clancy saying Bora High could defend against this team. I've been a Team Andy and a Plow apologist due to our horrible O-line play. However, all 3 maybe have to go at this point. Blame lies on the coaching staff before the players, in my opinion. 10-point lead by UTEP in the third quarter. Felt like the game was over. Couldn't figure out a defense. I was giving up 30 points a game. Yeah, I mean, that. No disrespect to UTEP, but this UTEP team is not good. So, and again, it's like 140 degrees in here, so I apologize that I'm sweating, but I think I've lost 10 pounds because they've got us in a little box, which we appreciate UTEP for helping us out, but this is a very old press box, and there's no air conditioning, so that's just adding to the was a pretty brutal night all the way around for Boise State. Ryan Moser saying he'd take Robert Prince back at OC. Didn't think I'd say that. So focused on the Big 12, we've forgotten to take care of business with what's in front of us. Noticeable difference from the old BSU versus the new BSU. AD president talking a big game with no action. Pee Wee football could nail down the playbook. Logan saying thanks to Collin. Yes, Collin's doing a great job, so we appreciate all of his work behind the scenes. We'll get Collin to give us his thoughts on it. He was on the field on the sideline, so before we get out of here, I'll hand him the mic here, and he can let us know what he thought. That's it. It's on the players. Fire Plow. sub 500 season. What happened to R.J. Keene? Yeah, R.J. Keene suffered a shoulder injury. The redshirt freshman for the basketball team suffered a shoulder injury in practice, and he will be out for the season. I reported that news earlier today. I don't think Boise State has confirmed it yet, but my source is saying R.J. Keene out for the season with a shoulder injury. So that's certainly disappointing for Boise State. Let's see. Can we build the board in Extra Mile Arena instead? Save the money, the board for all that they're putting in with the $5 million or whatever it was. Ronnie says 12-2 can still win the league, win a bowl game, get to 12-2. Like your optimism there, Ronnie. Totally gaslit by the coaching staff all offseason. This is bad. Really makes me sick. Again, we can only go by what they tell us. We were told the offense looks great all fall. That obviously wasn't the case. We were told a lot of things that didn't prove to be true. The coaches were shocked in the Oregon State game that they didn't see what they had seen elsewhere. They saw it all fall camp, they said, and didn't see it in the games, and we haven't seen it at all. Plow's the obvious scapegoat. Avalos is in charge of everything. Does he have a future as a head coach, or do you need to clean house? Again, we're 9-7. We're 16 games into the Andy Avalos era. I don't think he is the one that's going to be fired. Fire Plow. Thanks. Bush Hamden. If we're going to go ground and pound, get Green in the game. Yeah, we've been saying that. I mean, that's certainly something you have to consider if that's going to be your style of offense. Is Talon Green better suited for that? I would have played him in the second half. I get what Andy Avalos is saying in the fourth quarter there. Sure, it's too late at that point when you need a 2-minute drill, but to start the third quarter, this team needed a spark, and I think Talon Green could have been that spark. Team Andy guy, Plow apologist, due to the shoddy O-line play, but all three phases are terrible. That's head coach territory. Is Andy Avalos calling the offense? I think Avalos should go too, but you've bumped your head. Give me another Bush Hamden one. Something's got to change. Back and forth, exactly. This is some bipolar play calling. BJ, is it me, or does Plow seem to have an arrogant attitude in the weekly media interviews? He seems like he's too good to be there and is bored. I think he answers the questions fine. He takes them. He usually has an answer for them. He obviously defends himself. He does put some of the blame on others at times, but I think at times he takes the blame himself as well. So I think Plow's a stand-up guy and knows that it's not good enough. And he told people last week, hey, don't rip on the players, rip on me. It starts with me. I'll take the criticism. That's fine. He said somebody put a note on his car ripping him. And I don't know if he was joking about that or not, but he wouldn't, he wouldn't confirm if he was joking about that or not. We have our first Coach Pete comeback reference. Bring in Huff as O-line coach. Have Potter help. Let's see what else we got coming here. These comments are worth staying up for. Yeah, we were at 1 hour and 7 minutes. We're approaching 1 hour and 8 minutes, which I think is a record for the postgame show. And we still, at 12:15 in the morning, have 150 people across our channels watching this live. So this has set the official record for longest postgame show, longest show ever, probably in Bronco Nation news history, and the most people watching the show. We've also set a record with that as well. Does this make Boise State a basketball school? Well, their first practice, I believe, is Monday. The first official team practice is Monday, so it kind of is basketball season, at least for some. Kurt Blake, what happened to KHG? He just didn't do very good, and so he got benched. They started somebody else in this game. They started Will Farah. They benched KHG because they didn't think he played very well, I guess, in the first 3 games. They were trying to shake it up along the line. It obviously didn't work because, the offensive line didn't play great again. They did put him in the fourth quarter for some reason. I'm not really sure why, but he did come into the game later. This whole staff is awful. Wide receivers looked like they were jogging. Let's see. 4th double-digit loss under Andy Avalos in 2 seasons. Karen Rains providing the stats there. Appreciate that. May have to add that to my story. But 4th double-digit loss. And I bet you if you go through the Coach Pete, years and then the Brian Harsin era, I bet you that didn't happen very often. That's an interesting stat to go add up. So my wife providing the stats there. I appreciate that. Nice one there, honey. And yes, I will get Whataburger on the way home. Just for you, since she's hanging out on this trip. 0 life, 0 energy, 0 swagger, lots of individual players, no team. Missed the old school Broncos, didn't care about the Big 12, only stomping the opponents. Avalos just as cocky as Harsin, proved me wrong. Now we have someone wanting Trump fired. Plow must go, start there, not Harsin. No thanks to Harsin. Heck no to Harsin. Nah, Harsin, no thanks. No Harsin. Harsin's offense was better than this. Someone's Jail Skinner for OC. We're lighting the bat signal for Harsin. A lot of people talking to Harsin here. Harsin, much like Avalos, better coordinator than head coach. We have a Dan Hawkins, somebody wanting Dan Hawkins back. Bob Berry, congratulations to Albert Pujols. Yeah, we had something finally, something positive. So that was fun to see for me, at least. I was able to catch up with him the other night and saw 2 games and didn't see 700, but did see got to see him, and then I'm happy that he hit 2 tonight. So here's your answer for OC. Myself, somebody calling for BJ Rains for OC. Yeah, that would be interesting. If I was the OC, what would happen? I don't think you want that. Absolutely should have seen Green some in the second half. Man, these comments keep rolling in here. I don't know if we're going to be able to get to all these folks. Feel bad for Plow and his photographic memory. I'd hate to remember every offensive possession this year. Kellen probably wouldn't come till early in next season at the earliest. Kellen Moore is not coming. Let's stop. Let's just stop. Stop with the Kellen Moore talk. I'm not trying to be rude, but you're not getting Kellen Moore, and Andy Avalos is not getting fired this year. So let's just stop right there. It's not happening. Let's keep rolling through here. You got to keep doing this, BJ. It's letting me vent in peace. That's what we're here for. New offensive coordinator. Nope, not going to be me. Had a couple other folks. Do you think Jack Sears would come back? No, I don't think so. He was recruited by the previous staff, not this staff. My sister's car had 2 BSU tickets, got broken into, and the person left 2 more. Wow. How about that's an old joke? How about that? Broke into the car and didn't take the 2 tickets, left more. Didn't want to go to the game. That's a good one. I genuinely think this is rock bottom. I feel sick to my stomach. Never felt like this after a loss. Peterson's commenting on them. This is a season ticket holder for 15 years, cringing to have to see them in person for 5 more games. It starts with me, according to Andy Avalos. Man, these comments are from like 30 minutes ago. This is crazy. Look at the film. We'll make adjustments. It starts at the top. Crowd noise. People are laughing at that. How do you beat San Diego or Fresno? What crowd? There was nobody there. If Green was going to get a series in the first half and never got it. He did say that they had a package of plays and they intended to get Talon Green in this game. They just never could do it, which was very interesting, I thought. The intimidating crowd, they were probably comp tickets. How was their crowd noise? It wasn't even a half-full stadium. Maybe it's checked out, but definitely a realization of it not working. This reminds me of the 2009 Oregon game. Ducks got their first down in the third quarter. Bench Bachmeyer. We got Fire Plow again. It's the first time we've heard that tonight. BJ, I'm hurt. I mean, damn, this ain't easy. We love it. Logan says thank you. Let's see. I'm trying to scroll through here, man. We really appreciate all your comments, guys. I know you guys are enjoying checking, commenting back and forth. Oh, you betcha. I need 4 Cutwaters after this game. Well, great. Appreciate that for checking out the Cutwaters. They are. There isn't enough Cutwaters, they said, for what they need. So, yeah, the Cutwaters comments are coming in. Drink some water. Good luck. Let's see. Hank to UC Davis would be hilarious. Let's see what else we got. We got a chat bot on here, it looks like. Where are the mods? Yeah, we'll try to get them off of here if we can ban them. Block the user right here. This is good for business. The chat and live stream is buzzing. Yeah, Collin, I'm never going to say it's good for Boise State to lose a game, obviously, but we were talking in the press box that when someone's shouting out Collin, they said, take these bots out of the chat, Collin. Come on, do some work here, man. If you want to grab the other mic real quick, we'll I don't know if you have it or what. If it might be in my backpack still with the cord, I'm not sure, but we'll throw Collin on here before we get out of here. Let's keep the comments coming here. We got so many of these comments coming in. Hire Joey Chestnut. He knows how to win. Boise State hasn't been this good since Falorialaga left. Matt Miller for OC. Kirby Moore would be the right guy. Dirk Cutter. What did Trump do to Skylar Bragg? Yeah, he's been going at him. Hank is literally the opposite of Kellen Moore. Offensive coordinator needs to go. So, yeah, we got a lot of comments on here. Thank you for staying up with us. Somebody giving me some love here. Appreciate that. Tell us that we didn't just lose to El Paso. Ryan Moser is 6 Coors and a pina colada Cutwater in. That sounds like a much better night than I'm having. The pina colada is my wife's favorite Cutwater, by the way. So we got Chuck Norris for OC. Let's see what else we got here. No AC in the desert. That's tough. Yes, if you can't tell, it is pour sweat all over. It's no Cutwater. Let's see here. Defense. Let's see what else we got here. Thanks, BJ, for hearing our complaints. No, I'm having fun, man. Loving this. Yeah, thanks a lot. Great show. Place for us fans. Thanks for providing a platform to vent. Need some oxygen. Yeah, we're having a lot of fun here. At least Bronco Nation gets to vent. Great work. Thank you. Yeah, we are enjoying this, man. It's been a lot of fun. Not enjoying it after a loss, obviously. This was a tough one for Boise State. I do want to play one more. This is just going to be the shortened bite. This is the short Andy Avalos bite for those that came late. Asked about changing things now, and then asked about any changes to the staff. Here's the about 1 minute clip of Andy Avalos earlier.
Yeah, there's no question, and that's obviously the big to-do that that we have to get going here really quick. And there's enough talk that's been done about it. Now we got to put something into place and put some action going forward. The one thing that I will say is, it starts with us, and it starts with me as a coach, and making sure that our offensive coaches and myself, we're putting our offense in the best situation, because we got guys that are working their tails off, and really, they got a huge care factor. And so, like we just told them in the locker room, we will be better for them. And, we're looking forward to obviously getting moving forward, because our goal is still in front of us as we move into conference play.
After a tough game like this, I mean, do you at some point have to consider, major changes, whether that's in your personnel or your coaching staff?
Well, we're going to go and look at the film, and we're going to look at the film, and we're going to really dissect the things that we're going to move forward on.
Well, there you go. And here we are, and here's Collin Mitchell. We've brought him in. He's been helping do some other stuff here as I try to give myself a little more leeway on the cord here. But Collin, you were on the field. Give us your perspective, man, and just your thoughts after this when you were on the field shooting highlights. Not many of them for Boise State, but a 27-10 loss. What were your thoughts, man?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a great game overall for Boise State, to state the obvious. But, I mean, it's in the first half, you're kind of thinking, getting off to a slow start, there's no way they actually lose this game, right? And then it starts creeping up, and they return a punt. And for someone who said it wasn't loud, it was pretty loud. I was down there. It may not look loud. I mean, this place it has the shape of the Rose Bowl, so you can't really tell exactly how many people are in there. But it was after that punt return, there was a drive where it was the audio levels on my camera were just they were high. And I will say, I was coming up at halftime. You have to take the stairs, and occasionally you'll pass the other coaches or the Boise State coaches. I happen to see the UTEP coaches, and I haven't been around college football for a while, but I've never seen a coaching staff so juiced up heading down the stairs to go talk to their team. And it kind of made me think, like, they might actually win this game. And yeah, it was just, it was concerning to say the least, to see that. But yeah, I mean, credit to UTEP. Their coaching staff called a hell of a game.
What'd you make of just the atmosphere or lack thereof, like you said, in the crowd? But just on Boise State sideline, we saw JL Skinner, your video after the game of him kind of being there. But what did you make of just being down on the field in terms of Boise State just not being able to get anything going on offense?
Yeah, they're just it wasn't clicking. And, I mean, you saw in the second half, the first drive was outstanding. And it was almost under 2 minutes or just around 2 minutes. And you thought they were going to bounce back, but it didn't happen. I don't want to use defeated. The energy just wasn't there on the sideline after UTEP gained that momentum, and you could feel it in the crowd behind them as well, that the energy just wasn't there. And yeah,
folks are shouting you out, man. We got Collin, we got the GOAT, we got Collin for OC. Hey, there's Collin for OC. Collin with the BNN swag. Give us your honest opinion. Collin, there's Collin. Everyone's loving seeing Collin on there. So, Collin, what's your final takeaway here, man? This team is now 2-2. We got folks wanting to bring back baseball and support hockey. We've got all these people wanting coaches fired and all this stuff. one in the quarterback benched. 2-2 football team, man, going back home for conference play, resuming against San Diego State on Friday night. What's just your take about where things are at, man?
I can say that I understand where you're coming from. I go to Arizona State. We just lost to Eastern Michigan last year, 20.5-point favorite. And I get it. It's frustrating, but you got to look at the bright side of things. They maybe they don't win the Mountain West. Maybe they do, but they have a chance, and they are undefeated in the Mountain West. So just gotta, I don't know. If you're Boise State, you just got to bounce back and really, really rebound.
Bronco Nation News is legit, doing a great job giving the fans a platform. Appreciate you, Tom. Appreciate everybody that was able to check it out here. Again, the bright side is, hey, you know, you're 1-0 in conference play. Collin, love this young man. Trevor, do you know Trevor? All right, there he is, Trevor Thompson. We appreciate it, you for watching, Trevor. But Boise State, again, falling 27-10 to UTEP. And, again, if you're looking for a silver lining, you get to come back home for a couple of games. You're back into conference play where you're undefeated now at 1-0. So I think that there's, you know, if they can figure it out, whether it's a coaching change, whether it's a quarterback change, if they can figure this out, there's still an opportunity for this thing to get turned around, and a lot of time left on the schedule. Still 8 games to go. You know, 2/3 of your season still left here. So going to be an interesting couple of days in Bronco Nation. We'll find out if there are any coaching changes. We'll find out if there are any changes to the personnel. We probably won't find out about a quarterback change or anything until Friday. Even though the game is Friday next week, they're still doing the press conference on Monday, by the way. So Monday at 1 o'clock, it'll be the coaches, Andy Avalos, and as of now, Tim Plow and Spencer Danielson. We'll see if that changes moving forward. But really appreciate everybody. Jen, thank you. Thanks for putting up with the heat. Great coverage. Bronco Nation News is legit. Fresno was down a couple years ago. Now they're good. They're down as well. Good show. But, yeah, appreciate everybody for checking us out. Again, we've been on for almost an hour and 25 minutes, and we still have over 100 of you guys watching us live. So thank you. Hopefully you're a subscriber. You're helping pay Collin's salary here for being a part-time employee. Will we have a show Monday morning? Yes, we will have John Mallory and myself. I believe I'm actually flying back Monday, so I will have to figure that out. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow on Sunday night with Johnny. I may do Sunday night with Johnny. So great show, good show. Appreciate everybody. Yeah, check us out. We may do Sunday at 8 p.m. with Johnny since I'm flying back Monday morning. I'm going home to St. Louis to see my kids. I get to see my kids for a couple of days. They're in St. Louis with my wife doing the traveling nursing, so I'm excited. I get to go home tomorrow morning, see my kids, and then we'll be back on Monday for the 2 home games. See, you're sweating too. It's a little warm in here, but appreciate all of you. If you're not a subscriber, hopefully you will please consider it. We need like 15 more to get to 600. I would love to get to 600 paying subscribers. If you're not a subscriber, please consider it. We're giving a free $25 gift card to the Blue and Orange store right now. If you sign up for a subscription, we'll throw in some other free swag, and we would love to have you guys check it out and get a subscription. So appreciate you guys. Have a great rest of your night. Have a great weekend. And we will talk to you maybe Sunday night with Johnny or Monday with the press conferences. We'll keep you tuned. But check BroncoNationNews.com. Got full coverage. I'm updating that story. We'll have some more post-game reaction, my analysis, my thoughts. Again, final score, Boise State falls 27-10. Disappointing time in Bronco Nation. Feel free, you guys. Apologize. Everest says, where do I subscribe? BroncoNationNews.com. BroncoNationNews.com. You click on the subscribe or the register button at the top. It's very easy, and we would really appreciate if you could help us out. We'll throw in some free swag for you, and we could use your subscription. We'd really appreciate it. So have a great day. Hang in there, Bronco Nation. There are better days ahead. 27-10, the final. The Lithia Ford at Boise postgame show. Thanks again, RowPaint.com, Idaho Central Credit Union, all of our great sponsors. Have a great night. We'll talk to you here in a couple days. Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com.